Welcome to Climathon Awards 2021. I am Lea Grüßer and I will be your host today together with Niels Roth representing IIT Climate KIG. It's really great to be here with you today. So we are coming at you live from our studio here in Zurich in Switzerland. And Zurich is just one of the hundreds of cities worldwide that have contributed to the Climathon movement since 2015. And wherever you may be joining us from, at your screens, maybe at home, maybe with some friends, I want to say thank you for joining us today for celebrating climate action together. So let's be really honest, last year, 2020, was an incredibly tough year. We've all faced challenges of our own, but I think that makes it even more incredible that we can come here together, even if it's just virtually, to celebrate ideas and new projects that have come on for climate action. And that's a very, very positive message, I think. So even during the challenges of COVID, there were a lot of people worldwide motivated to do something for our future and for our planet. So that's really, really great. And at the backbone of our program of Climathon, there are citizens, cities, and local organizers. So today we're here to honor their work, to honor your work actually, and to raise climate awareness, collaborate on ideas, and rethink the futures of our cities. So I have joined the Climathon movement in 2019. I was standing on this very stage, and the room was packed. There were a lot of people, maybe more than 100. And it's really different now to stare into a camera, but it's still very exciting because we can reach all of you people. But I think that my partner here on stage, Niels, he has been with Climathon for a much longer time. Can you give us a recap on that?
Yeah, thank you, Lea. My Climathon journey started in 2016, so I missed out 1 year when we, in fact, also here in Zurich, were one of the 20 or 30 first Climathons joining the network. So it's extremely rewarding to see that we literally have hundreds of cities around the world now where Climathons comes from. And also it's great for me to celebrate these Climathon Global Awards together with you in the city of Zurich, where something fairly strange happened the last couple of days. For the first time, almost since I can remember, it was actually not the COVID pandemic and its lockdown dominating the news and the talk of the town, but it was the massive, massive snowfall and its, sorry, alert for lame wordplay, flockdown dominating the news. But we were very lucky that we were still able to pull this off and be here together with you. Because as you said, Lea, today marks really the 5th year of Climathons happening around the world. And that's half a decade of people and cities coming together to share ideas, to exchange networks, and to boost climate action around the world. Now, as I said, 5 years actually means, if you add up all of the numbers, that we've literally already had tens of thousands of people around the world contributing to climate action. We've had hundreds of cities. We've been present on all 6 continents. And actually, as you know, as Lea was saying before, this was quite a difficult year, 2020, because of the pandemic. COVID exposed in many, many ways the fragility of our system, how things could break apart. And this is a chance, actually, to come up, the motto that has been emerging is this idea of building back better. So after something breaks and things go apart, it is also, in a way, disguised as something of an opportunity, because we have to make sure that we grasp this moment of time to not recreate the systems of the past, but to actually build healthier, more future-oriented businesses, cities, and communities where we come together. Okay, so what you can see here from these slides is that actually last year we were active in 60 countries. We had over 100 Climathons, connecting 4,500 participants. And let's pause there for a moment, because 2020 was the year in which events all over the world got cancelled. They moved the bloody Olympic Games. The COP ministerial negotiations were cancelled. But yet, our community of local organizers all around the world used their creativity, their inventiveness to attract resources and to actually make Climathons happen. So a big chapeau to all of you, the real heroes of the Climathon. Now, if we look at the map around the world, we were actually active in many, many corners of the world. And it was a delight to see how quickly these people were able to change from the offline to the online, to integrate people, to change flows. And that is really something to applaud going forward. And what is also not a surprise at all is that many of the teams focused on ideas related to the pandemic. So in fact, here in Zurich, participants were challenged by the city to think about tomorrow. What could happen after COVID? How can we build better? What could actually happen? What could the future of Zurich be in terms of the climate? And in Cali, in the beautiful country of Colombia, participants came up with solutions and ideas to tackle the massive problem of waste, of all the masks, the protective gloves, etc., that were littered all around the city. But yes, Leah, I think we're coming together here to celebrate many things, to celebrate ideas, to celebrate actions, connections and ecosystems emerging. And we have a full program, so let's continue to the next part.
Yes, that's true. So as you already mentioned, we are not only looking at the ideas of this last year, of the last edition, which was mainly about after Corona solutions, but we are also going back in time and like really looking at the projects that have emerged over the last 5 years. And that's why today we have not only one award like normally, but 2 awards. And the first one is for the most transformative idea of 2020 and the second one for the most improved idea of 2015. And as you can imagine, in both categories, there were lots of incredible ideas that are very impressive. And we had 140 applications that really brought forward cool ideas. And we would have loved to show them to you right now. But honestly, then we would all be stuck in front of our screens for more than 24 hours, maybe. And I think in these times, nobody is lacking screen time. So we thought we have to come up with something else to make you just be here with us for this hour. So we thought the Climathon way of doing is to let the public decide which ones are the best teams. So we thought we put the 5 most promising ideas in each category on our website and make it up to a public vote to decide for the 3 most promising ideas that we will showcase to you here in an instant. And yeah, it's really, really amazing how many people showed up for that opportunity. We had thousands of votes, and I think that really speaks for the Climathon power that we can mobilize so many people. So really, really thank you for interacting here. And really, it's also time to interact now in this very moment, because we would like to invite you to make yourselves visible on social media. So please use the opportunity to talk about things that are on your minds right now. Please tune into Facebook, tune into YouTube and LinkedIn chats, and let us know about your local situations. What challenges are you faced with in your community? What is happening outside of your doorstep? And also, maybe there's something in your city that, that you don't know how to cope with, and your city could need a Climathon, and it doesn't happen there. So maybe you can suggest that. Our team behind the scenes is there to answer all your questions, give you feedback, and yeah, maybe help you mount some action of your own. And you never know, maybe next year, this time, an idea from your city will be awarded on this stage or in the stage that we will have then, or even have other projects in your city. So yeah, please be active on our chats on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. But I think now we have had a long introduction, but we want to really come to the exciting part. So we want to see the projects and also discuss with our friends from our partners, Facebook, Microsoft, WWF, and Impact Hub. So I'm handing over to Niels to talk about the first category.
Thank you, Leah. So indeed, we had over 140 applications for this category. I've been lucky enough to read some of them, and I can assure you that many of them could actually be on this stage, because this category was open to ideas that were created during the 2020 Climathon. So when you afterwards listen to those presentations, keep in the back of your mind that most of these ideas are not even a few older than a few months actually, and it's remarkable how far they have come, and I think it speaks testimony to the community that has supported them locally. Now, the winning teams will receive excellent mentoring support for an extended period of time from our partner Facebook and their sustainability team. And I know from personal experience that I have friends and colleagues who've been mentored by Facebook in the past and who've profited massively from their ideas and their network to actually scale the impact. So I think this is wonderful for the teams that we have. Now for this category, we have a wonderful jury who helped us, because as Leah said, we had the 140 applications first, selected, shortlisted a few where we asked you, the public, to vote. And from those 3 that finally came as ultimate finalists, we had these 4 members of the jury with us to help select the winner. So we have Sarah, who you'll hear from in a little bit, from our partner Facebook. We have Barbara Eveus from our long-standing partner WWF jurying in this part. We had Rulian, who is a local organizer from Curitiba in Brazil, from the Impact Hub there. And finally, we had Monica representing the student voice as part of the European Student Union. And as Leah said, we've had many, many votes for this category alone. Now, let us go and see where the 3 finalists actually came from. We're going to listen to each of those pitches, which we have decided to pre-record in order to make sure that we avoid technical glitches on this front as much as possible. And again, as Leah was saying before, if you are listening to the stream and you hear the pitch and an idea comes up, or feedback, or potentially a contact they could be in touch with, please write that in the chat or anywhere on social media, and we will make sure that this actually comes to the different teams so that we use this exposure that we have collectively in order to help as many ideas as we can. So with that, I'm going to introduce the different finalists. And for the first one, we're going to travel to Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia, where we're going now to listen to the pitch of the team of Green Penguin.
Meet Green Penguin, project where digital technologies meet nature demands with help of children. Ljubljana challenged us. Carbon neutral city through digitalization of buildings. 2 companies joined their forces, Iskra Emeco and Klapir. Solution. With gathering resource consumption data, schools will compete against each other on reducing CO2 footprint with changing their behaviors. CO2 will be recalculated into ice not melted, and penguins safe. Green Penguin is making children lifelong stewards of our planet, and benefits are for now and for the generations to come. It can be international competition. Ljubljana and Reykjavik are excited about the idea, and let's make it for hotels and shopping malls. We start with children aiming for the whole society. And isn't that what we need? Data moves science, but stories, games moves culture. Dream big, play with us and win Green Penguin.
Wonderful. I mean, I have 2 little kids of my own, and they surely would like to help save the penguins, I know. So that was our first finalist. For the second one, we're going to travel CO2 neutral to the other part of the world, to the Philippines, where in Pasig we will hear from the team of Ecopolis.
We are Ecopolis from Pasig City, Philippines. Our goal, to help establish food security by empowering the city to feed itself. But how do you convince residents to grow food and outsmart the challenge of having only 1% of green space in Pasig? What if we're able to turn almost 1 million individuals into community urban farm owners, patrons, supporters through EcoLink app that connects them to information and each other? With 99% of the land already used, what if we looked at lining Pasig's river with floating farms, all 24 kilometers of it? And if we could turn rivers into farms, imagine how easy it will be to turn rooftops, sidewalks, walls, all unused space into opportunities to grow food. Join our campaign. Let's turn food waste into compost, dead space into farms, and every interaction a community building effort. Together, let's turn every metropolis into an ecopolis.
A wonderful idea from the Philippines, and I think one that could actually be applicable to many of the cities around the world, so potentially through the Climathon network. This is one of the ideas that we could scale together. We have a third finalist for this category though, and for that we're going to travel to Germany, where actually the different local organizers decided that they wanted to do not just a city-based climathon, but actually one for the entire country. And from that, our third finalist comes. So it's time to hear to the team Green Invest from Stuttgart, Germany.
The world is still far away from quickly transitioning to a CO2 neutral economy. One of the major reasons, substantial amounts of money have been pledged for green projects, such as solar panels or wind farms, but it does not hit the ground. Therefore, local green projects often lack the funds to be realized. At the same time, there are many people who would like to invest money sustainably and safely, but don't know how. We bring those two groups together via a community-oriented green investment platform. Initiators of green projects can publish their projects if they meet our rigorous sustainability requirements. And everybody else, starting from as little as 10 euros, can invest, for example, in the solar plant on the roof next door to get a financial reward or green energy from their neighbor. As our next step, we will roll out a prototype with our institutional partners in the German city of Stuttgart. Then we will expand our platform to make easy green investing accessible everywhere. Now it's up to you. Together we can make the change to a sustainable economy happen.
Wow, that's also a great idea from the team in Stuttgart, Green Invest. A smartphone is always at hand, so yeah, really applicable solutions are arising from the Climathon team. So I would really be overwhelmed with the choice between these. Really, really great job, all of the three teams. You have so many different approaches, and I think it was hard to decide which one was the best. So I'm happy that I didn't have to do it, but that I am joined now by one of the jury representatives, who is going to announce the winner. She is the head of the Sustainability and CSR strategy at Facebook, and they are our Climathon Award partner, and Sarah is here to let us know who the winner is. Sarah, are you in the line with me?
I am. Thank you so much for having me today.
Hi,
We're
Sarah.
thrilled.
Great
We're
to have
thrilled
you.
to be partnering with Climate Kick this year.
Where are you dialing in from, Sarah?
From San Francisco, California.
Oh my God, that must be super early in your time zone right now. I really appreciate that you're here with us today. So let me know, who is the winner in this category and why is it them, the most transformative idea of 2020?
Yes, I'm thrilled to announce that Green Invest from Stuttgart, Germany
Woo.
has won. Woo!
Yeah, can you tell us
Congratulations, team.
why it's them?
Yeah, you know, as you said, it was a really tough decision, but what we really liked about it was that it takes this really successful crowdfunding idea and applies it in a sustainability context. It allows more people around the globe to invest. It reduces the barrier to entry. And it really has a community focus, which is something that Facebook really believes in, that, you know, interacting online digitally with your neighbor, co-investing in, you know, an EV charger on a neighborhood block, for example, that could be shared among a couple people, could be really amazing. Also, the ability to reconnect perhaps with a community that you really feel close to. Let's say you moved across the country to a different part of the world and you want to invest in your hometown. It allows people to do that and allows it to be easy, simple, and to be climate and sustainability focused.
Yeah, great. Well, that's why we have you on board Facebook, because we share this value of engaging communities. So can you let us know what the team can expect from the support of you and your team at Facebook by winning this award?
Yes. So over the next 6 months, Facebook is committing to mentor the team. Mm-hmm. We know that one of the next steps is to build a prototype of the app itself. So we've got a whole team of what we call sustainability hackers that are really excited to potentially help out the team and guide them, whether it's from a design, from an engineering standpoint, from an UX standpoint, folks are ready and excited to help.
Well, that sounds great because the crowd at Climathon are also hackers. So I hope and I'm sure that they will get along just fine and be able to support each other. So thank you so much for joining us here, Sarah. I think we will see you back a bit later for the panel discussion. But I believe that Niels now has the lucky winners in the line. Let's hear what they have to say, Niels.
Thank you. Yes, I have David from the team of Green Invest with us online. And David didn't know before maybe 5 minutes ago that his team would actually win. So I think he must be quite surprised. I see a big smile, David. Happy to hear that. So you just won Most Transformative Idea of 2020. How do you feel?
Oh, wow, it's really incredible. I'm quite overwhelmed and really excited. I can't quite believe it, especially thinking back at how all of this started. When I registered for the Climathon back in November, I never thought much would come of it. But now we're here and this has been an amazing journey. So thank you very much for the jury's decision, for believing in us. And I wanted to say also congrats to the other challenges you have, to the other teams. You have amazing ideas. Keep at it.
And you said it started with registering for the Climathon. Where did the idea come from, and did you find your team, or what impact did Climathon have for Green Invest?
Basically, our team, we hadn't seen each other before, so we really met the first time at the Climathon, and it was one of the challenge. And over the course of the weekend, we were brainstorming ideas. We came together, and an amazing team formed, and the idea has been ever growing ever since.
Wonderful. And you just heard Sarah on the line from Facebook saying that you won 6 months of mentoring, but not only that apparently they have this community of green hackers and UX designers and everybody willing to help. What are you expecting from that help, and is there something you would already like to say to them?
I'm really looking forward, not only me, but also my team, to working with you and to your input. I imagine you have a huge expertise in obviously in all digital questions, also sustainability. But I think also, in the process of bringing young ideas to fruition. So we're really looking forward to your input as to how we can develop our business model.
Wonderful, David. And I think I could say from my part, shopping locally has already become such a huge trend. So investing locally is a logical next step. And I'm grateful that you guys are picking this up. And please keep this smile on your face for a while, which probably will not be that difficult. But thank you for being. Good luck on your next steps. And maybe see you in a few years in the other category of Most Improved Idea. Thank you, David.
Thank you so much, Niels. Greetings to Zurich.
Yeah, thank you also from my side. Congratulations to Green Invest for winning the Climathon Award for the most transformative idea of 2020. And I really hope that not only you will get a lot of more clicks and views, that we can all follow your journey, but also the other teams. But speaking of journeys, Climathon is an idea platform for long-lasting connections between cities and citizens, and that is something that our next guest here knows all about. He is the director of the Environment and Health Department at the City of Zurich. Please join me, René Estermann.
Hello, Leah.
Hi, René. It's really cool to have you here, especially in person, that we're not meeting in front of a screen again. How do you feel?
Oh, it's great here, and of course, great to have a winner in the financial sector. So from Zurich as well, City of Finances, congratulations to the team in Germany, Green Invest.
Yeah. So this year's edition of Climathon marks really 5 years of the Climathon movement, and I know that the City of Zurich has also been a long-standing partner of Climathon. And during that time, during these years, your department especially has accompanied teams and helped them to grow. So could you tell us why you do that, how you do that, and do you think that working long-term with teams can bring along better results?
Yeah, why we do that, for the whole world, as well as for Zurich's net zero vision, impactful and relevant, great innovations are so important. And who else than the Climathon community knows, coming from a good idea then to successfully at the society and in the market implemented reality product or service, that's such a long way.
Yes.
And we help these great teams, these great ideas to become reality. So we set good conditions in the city frameworks that we set in place, and as well, of course, with expertise, with coaches. We give a bit support to the ideas to become relevant. We give support perhaps for some piloting ideas on the cities. For example, next week, with the Climathon teams from last November, we set in place this city meeting, connect them with other city departments. Perhaps one or the other department can set in place or support such a piloting, and then to become more relevant in the future.
Yeah, it's really great. I will also be on board for that city meeting, which is really cool to really see that the whole city is happy to support the mission. So what advice would you give to a representative maybe watching right now from other cities if they want to support their citizens or involve their citizens into climate action?
Well, such recommendations. First, of course, it's set an ambitious vision for the city, like we do with the Net Zero Zurich or the Climate Neutral Switzerland. That's important to go ahead with a great vision you set in place from top to the whole citizenships. And then, of course, as a city, we are responsible to set as well clear frameworks, clear conditions, regulative conditions. That means for the main action fields in the building sector, in consumption, in mobility, set clear conditions for the future, for the net zero developments. As well, integrate carbon pricing. That means give viable economic conditions to these ideas. And then we have to take with us the people, so communicate, set in place events, give platforms for ideas, involve them in the community. And at the end then, of course, lead with good example. Walk the talks as a city. It's not the others that have to go, it's everybody first that have to go ahead, and this we do as well with our several city departments. We want to be the first to realize the net zero targets, and together with you, with the innovators of the futures. So I think let's make innovations the established net zero reality in the future.
Great, thank you so much for joining us here, René. It's really invaluable to have you on board as a representative of the city and to continue the journey for Climathon. Thank you so much for coming here today.
Good luck to everybody and go ahead.
And see you at our next climate event, which is already next week. That's really cool. So now I think it's time that we head to the second category. We have all been waiting for this, the most improved idea since 2015. So Niels is back on stage. That was a quick, swift change here. So what's behind that award, Niels?
Yeah, it's nice to be back on stage so quickly, but something that the viewers might not know is that we've gotten very clear instructions. We can only speak to you without a mask if Leah and I also keep 1.5 meters distance.
Of course.
So our wonderful technical team making today possible showed us a spot here on the carpet in the middle that if we go too close there, a big red alarm will probably go off to make sure that we at least keep our distance for this award, for this ceremony. But yes, we're going to the second category, most improved ideas since 2015. And as you said, I'm particularly looking forward to this one because I've personally been part of this journey for such a long time. seen so many of the teams growing, facing challenges, finding solutions, and taking it to the next level. And what is great is that for this category, we've also been able to found a partner in Microsoft that has been interested in supporting this team with mentoring and with support going forward. And you will hear in a little bit what that could mean for the different teams. And again, we're very grateful that we had such a wonderful jury helping us on this track, because again, we received many, many applications for this specific category. And we had a public vote narrowing the finalists down to these three pitches that you will hear in just a second. And we had a wonderful team here. Carla, who is a local Climathon organizer in Pasig on the Philippines. We had Peter, who is part of Impact Hub Global, a long-standing partner of the Climathon. We have a sim from Microsoft, who you will hear just in a second, handing out the award. And finally, we also had Boris as a jury member, who is part of the Impact Hub Hamburg and one of the organizers of the Climathon in Germany. So again, we had just for these category over 3,500 different people voting in such a short span of time, and that's wonderful for us to see. But you're probably curious who the different finalists are, so let's meet them right now, the three teams that made it to the next phase. So first, we have teams from all across the world, from 3 different continents, in fact. And the first team we're going to listen to presenting to you all comes from Khartoum in Sudan, and this is the team of Arctic Energy.
Hello everyone, my name is Selma and I'm from the Arctic Energy team. One of the most unforgettable lessons that I ever learned in school was about alternative energy. It's green, sustainable, and renewable form of energy. It was the future of energy. And I thought that was cool, and I'm looking forward to the future. 20 years later, we're still not there yet. I was pissed. That's when I realized I can create that future. My partner Ahmed learned about a fact that in Sudan, 2/3 of the population do not have access to energy. 2/3 of the population is 24 million people. And that's when he realized I can change that. And together we created Arctic Energy, with a vision to accelerate Sudan's transition towards sustainable energy by facilitating access to renewable energy that supply productive economic activity, create impact and local opportunity in every community in Sudan. Thank you.
Congrats to the team of Arctic Energy. And I think, Leah, I must admit I was slightly surprised when I read that a team from the middle of Africa was called Arctic Energy, confusing it with the Arctic, of course. But now I think I see where they're coming from. And it's wonderful to see how far they have come already since they participated in their local Climathon. For the second finalist in this category, we're again traveling to the other side of the world, to Asia, to Bangladesh, where in Dhaka we have the team of Xero.
Hello everyone, this is me Adil Hossain today with you from Team Zero, presenting Alo, a Bengali name which means light. We know growing power demands need sustainable energy production alternative. In last few decades, solar panel has been a major alternative, but with time it's becoming the same old conventional panel with high maintenance and low affordability and portability. So what's the solution? Alo, yes, a smart solar equipment which utilizes IoT and mobile application to optimize any scenario, bringing out maximum efficiency, which is also portable. Mostly considered in city areas where clear light source is an issue. We also provide microloan-based solar solutions so that it reaches lower developed areas and we can utilize more surface area and with cities. Customization brings more flexibility and low carbon footprints too. Just like small Lego builds more complex structures, we want our plug-and-play solar to be a part of building a complex network sustainable energy. The more you plug in, the more you generate. With that being said, we believe in being a part of the solution, not in pollution.
Also here, a very creative solution from Bangladesh, and I think one where you really see that every Climathon is deeply rooted in its local ecosystem and its local challenges, because this solution tackles the challenges in their context and can then be modified and adapted and scaled, which is again the philosophy of the Climathon. But we have a third finalist, and for that we're traveling to the beautiful city of Florence in Italy, where we're going to hear from the team of Start Park.
Hello everybody, today I'm here to introduce you to the project Start Park. Start Park has been conceived during the Climathon 2017 in Florence by a multidisciplinary team. Well, I have a question for you. As your city have a phased draft period of floods? I guess so, because this kind of extreme climate events are becoming more and more common nowadays. So Start Park is then a co-design process aimed at making urban green areas more resilient to climate change effects. To do so, our team facilitated the activation of local communities in proposing and designing a set of nature-based solutions and social activities for that parks. Since 2017, we have been developing 2 different Start Parks in 2 European cities, thanks to European fundings. So if you'd like to have a Start Park in your own hometown, please vote for us.
I think that line, if you want to have a Start Park, vote for us, was a very clever way of getting a lot of people to vote, because I would like to have one of those in my hometown, certainly. Now, again, we're going to hear from a member of the jury who is going to help us with letting us know who the winner of this category is. And for that, I'm very grateful that I'm joined by Asim from Microsoft, from Microsoft. Very grateful to have you on the line from the UK, I believe. Asim, how are you?
I'm good, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. And yes, from the UK.
Great. I know your official title is Green Cloud Advocacy Lead, and you're part of this internal community at Microsoft, which is called Worldwide Sustainability Community, which is over 3,000 Microsoft employees, I believe. Can you maybe say something to that and how you intend to support the winning team?
Yeah, so how we're going to support the winning team is just through mentorship over the next, I think, quite a few months. So my name's Asim Hussain. I'm what's called the Green Cloud Advocacy Lead, and I'm part of developer relations. There's another person, Ray Leon. She's also part of the developer relations team. She'll form part of this mentorship team. We'll also be joined by Clara, Matilda, and Sebastian, who are European chapter leads for what you just described, which is the Microsoft Worldwide Sustainability Community. I think we're 3,000. We're growing very, very fast, but it's an internal, grassroots, employee-led green team that's committed to protecting the Earth's natural resources, creating positive environmental change, and ensuring that Microsoft is operating with the most sustainable practices possible. And so really that's our strength, and that's really what we're offering the winning team is really connecting and access to the kind of the 3,000 members of Microsoft who are part of this worldwide sustainability community. It's a range of people across all disciplines inside Microsoft. So, what we hope is through kind of regular meetings with the winning team, we'll sit down, we'll find out what your needs are. We will then reach out inside our network to find the right people for you to talk to. And with a network of 3,000 people inside Microsoft, we're sure we'll find the right person to solve your specific problem. And then we'll continue that kind of month and month moving forward.
And I really admire your ability to outline the prize without naming the actual winner, because we're building this moment of suspense now where the audience is probably wondering who is the winning team. And if we were a commercial organization, this would probably be a good time to take a commercials break, which we could sell maybe Super Bowl-like fees as a business model idea. But we're not a commercial organization, so I would say, Asim, maybe break the tension and let us know who won the award for Most Transformative Idea since 2015.
I'm very proud to. So the choice again was very, very, very hard. All the entries were excellent, and I would say from a personal level in sustainability, the 2 areas I nerd out or I'm most excited about are energy and kind of environmental nature. So for me, especially, this was a very, very hard choice. But it's my pleasure to announce that the winner is Start Park from Florence, Italy. Woo, well done. Yeah.
Great. And just 2 or 3 sentences, why did the jury particularly award this team?
So we all just loved just how much progress the team had made over the years. And it's quite challenging sometimes to kind of keep the momentum going. And they really had over the last few years. And also just the nature of the solution, it has a kind of deep connection with community, and also not just community, but also local governments and local authorities, and kind of connecting all of that together. And we felt that was kind of a really powerful a solution, and that kind of edged it up over the others. And personally, I feel like connecting with nature, holds the key, key to our future. Nature is amazing. We have a lot to learn from nature, and connecting with it is I think, a really important way of getting a lot more people involved and kind of caring about kind of the challenges that we face. And I'm just really excited. Myself, Ray, Clara, Matilda, and Sebastian, we're all just really, and the rest of the Microsoft community, we're just really excited to help them succeed. So congratulations.
Great. Yeah, I think what you were saying is exactly true, right? So nature is not just protecting us and helping us, but experiencing nature more will help all of us feel a deeper bond to the planet that we live on, and help protect its beauty. So we'll hear from you in a little bit later, Sim. Thank you already for this. And I think, Leah, this time roles are switched and you have the winning team on the line.
I do. I have the honor to be interviewing Start Park, and I think I have Marco Berni here. Marco, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Well, congratulations. Tanti auguri. I don't think we can see you now. Yes, now we can see you. Tanti auguri, come stai? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling very, very well. We are so happy of this acknowledgement. It is great. We didn't expect this award, and this is something that recognizes even our efforts as team in these years. So yeah, we are super happy. Thank you.
Yeah, great. So you started your project in 2017 with the Climathon there. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey? So you just mentioned your team. How many people are there? Did you meet during the Climathon? Please share some of your insights. Yeah.
Exactly. We met in 2017 in Florence at the Climathon. It was that event that makes the Star Park happen, because we started conversate about which are the real problems, which are also the underlying dynamics that can affect, let's say, also the development of urban design of the future in a sustainable way. So it was that the first time where we developed a first prototype, and then also the first business model of this project. So yeah, Climathon was the initial spark of Star Park. Yeah.
Great. And now I saw in the description that you're also moving to other cities in Italy. Did your team grow? How did it go?
Yeah, exactly. We grow in 2 Italian cities, and thanks also to European funding, because a lot of, let's say, realities believe in us, also municipalities, and now, let's say, the opportunities to scale and diffuse our approach to collaborative urban design, to sustainable futures, and also as you said, the value of relational design connected with the idea of cities resilience. So yeah, we are gonna follow this path, I think.
That's so great, and I hope that now you can even grow faster or grow bigger and reach even more people through the help of Microsoft. What are you looking especially forward to with working with them, with Asim and his team?
We expect to understand which is the state of the art, even of, let's say, tech solution, and what can a network so diffused enable for our solution. So we are looking for something between the tech solution and the diffusion of collaborative approach to the cities. So we think that the Microsoft support would be essential. Yeah.
Wow, great. So we will make sure to follow you and follow your ideas, follow your journey. Congratulations again, and make sure to let us know how it will continue. Thank you for joining us, Marco.
Thank you.
So yeah, and I think that we have gotten some input from the chat right now. Is that right?
We did, Leah. Yeah, thank you. Our colleagues were busy monitoring the chat, and I just got a few things about what all of you who are watching are actually writing in the chat. So we asked you, for example, where you are from, and we have people here, and I'm not going to list it all, don't worry, but people from Minneapolis, from London, from Dhaka, from Stuttgart, from Ljubljana, from Riyadh, from Copenhagen, from Khartoum. So again, from everywhere in the world.
You said you're not mentioning all, but this is already such a big list. That's so great.
Thank you for interrupting. I think that was a good time. I could have kept going. And we asked you also what are some of the challenges that you're facing locally. And again, here, I think we see the diversity of the Climathon community. So things from energy sharing to issues of flooding that is related to climate change, plastic pollutions. And many of you have this issue of we know maybe the problems, but what we also need to do is develop the skills and the capabilities and the resources to actually turn these challenges into solutions. So again, many things around the world. And what was interesting also that many of you who are watching have actually been part of a Climathon or have a friend who has been part of a Climathon. And so it's really great to see that the community is active again with us. And I think as you are still watching, you probably wonder, because you have 10 to 15 more minutes left. Okay, you've given out the awards. What do you still have? Well, we have a strawberry on the cake, right, Leah, if I can so say. We're going to get input that is hopefully relevant, certainly for us, but I think for all of us for the future.
Yeah, thank you, Niels. Obviously, it's the people behind the screens, you, that keep the climate conversation alive. And I think it's really, really incredible, again, to think that even during the pandemic, now we had so many people collaborating and doing efforts for climate right now. And it's really impressive that people, like the citizens, are really there to engage for climate action. And so we thought when we were putting this whole event together that we have to make this the topic of the panel, of the fireside chat that we have right now coming up, the citizen engagement, and especially the topic of building back better after the crisis. So I'm really happy that we will be joined here now by our four panelists. I'm going to just name them, but you've already seen them on the slide of the jury, and we've already talked to some of them. So there's Barbara from WWF, there's Peter from Impact Hub, there is Sarah from Facebook again, and Asim from Microsoft. It's really cool to have you all here. And I would first like to start with Barbara and hear her thoughts. Hi, Barbara, can you hear me?
I can indeed. Hello.
Hi,
Thanks
Barbara.
so much for inviting me to take part in this.
Really great to have you here again. So when the world will now come, or hopefully shortly come out of the COVID crisis, I think that it's really, really important that we don't just go back to business as usual. And because it is right now, the way we're doing business or the way we're living is often destructive for our planet, for the environment. We have lots of patterns and activities that are not beneficial. So what do you think? How can we use the opportunities that come out after the COVID crisis to build stronger communities and cities and have a positive impact for the climate?
Yeah, thanks so much. You covered a lot of my points there. Very well then, Leah. You can work at WF. But no, in fact, I think it's really important to recognize that first and foremost, this has been a major crisis and very detrimental, and of course, all of that. So with all respect to the crisis, we have, despite that, been able to take some valuable takeaways from it. We see, for example, a reduction or an improvement in air quality due to less traffic or less stress and other benefits of working virtually, lower costs for company, et cetera. So there are a number of co-benefits that we've recognized and would never have discovered otherwise, or maybe, of course, clean air is no big surprise, but actually we've seen this kind of behavioral shift during a very, very short time. Something that might take years or generations has now happened so quickly.
Yeah.
So I think that gives us a lot of hope. It also presents a very unique opportunity to build further on this. And as you said, not going back to what we had, but to looking forward and how to do this even better. And I think that generally there was already quite a heightened awareness of the detrimental threats of climate change and risks that environmental degradation presented to human life, but even the planet as a whole. Before COVID, we really reached some type of peak as far as awareness is concerned. So maybe that's been emphasized and heightened due to the pandemic, and now we need to build further. And what I did is I broke it down into 3 I's. And I think that the solutions have to do with innovation, investment, and inclusivity. So as far as innovation, we've heard great examples of that here, really just trying to think a little more outside of the box in looking at innovations, not only technical, but social innovations, and how to solve the problems we have today through new ways of thinking and new methods and new practices and behaviors. And also, while doing that, not creating new problems. So I think it's really important to be aware that we don't want to solve current problems by creating new problems. Yeah. So anyway, the idea of thinking new, innovate innovatively is number 1. And then followed on that, and very relevant just for the Build Back Better, is the whole idea of recovery funding and grants that are being issued, and that this is the I for investment, that we look to see that there is stringent sustainability criteria attached to any type of assistance and funding, so that we are investing in the new, we're investing in the future, and not in technologies or systems that are out of step with where we want to go and how we want the world to look.
And Barbara, we have to move a bit faster now. So third point, we have to come to the next speaker.
I'll just conclude there with inclusivity, and that just has to do with making sure that we have a broader number of stakeholders at the table making decisions, so that we don't make decisions that are good for few rather than many. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Barbara, and we make sure to keep up with you. And next in line, I have the pleasure to talk to Peter from the Impact Hub Global Community. Peter, are you here?
Very much here, very present. Thank you for the kind invitation.
Thank you for joining us. You actually, it looks a lot like Impact Hub Zurich with this glass wall behind you. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Many times, yes, but I'm at home today.
Wow. So yeah, Impact Hub is a global community of entrepreneurs who dedicate their time and their activities for promoting sustainability and making this world better through the business activities that they have. And I know, Peter, that you have been working hard this year to really help the businesses and the startups and the entrepreneurs in your community to cope with the challenges in this pandemic. So how do you see us all best transforming the challenges that we're facing into opportunities?
So one thing that the pandemic has really illuminated for me is how intertwined are the roles of an individual, the communities, and the society we are a part of, and a competent, well-resourced government. Right? You can't fight the pandemic as an individual without protecting yourself and others around you. You can't fight the pandemic if the vast majority of us don't do the same, and if you can't fight the pandemic if there isn't a competent and effective government response. Yeah. All these 3 levels of our societies are essential, and while one shouldn't wait for the other to act, all 3 eventually need to work in sync. And it is exactly the same with addressing climate change quickly and effectively. There is a need for a positive vision and a clear plan of action, effective policy, and a massive amount of resources to be provided by governments, hopefully the same resources that will be invested in the post-COVID economic recovery. And at the same time, this is as much about innovation that comes from the bottom up, from entrepreneurs, from businesses, community leaders, local politicians, artists, and the academia. But none of that policy or innovation will make enough difference if the vast majority of citizens, each of us, don't change our preferences towards emissions-free energy, heating our homes, transportation, food, and other products and services. And while climate has become this leading global cause, with millions of people from all parts of society committing to building more sustainable and just communities, it is really once in a generation opportunity. But there's also a challenge. While we all want to contribute to the solution, the majority of us aren't really climate experts. And frankly, it's quite easy to get lost in the complexity. So what I'm a little bit worried about is that a lot of the really powerful human energy and ingenuity will go towards solutions that have only very little climate impact, that I'm afraid that we all will run in all kinds of directions. So as much as I'm a real believer in bottom-up local innovation, I also think that there needs to be an ambitious and easy to understand vision and plan of action on city, national, and global levels that we all can contribute to. And as much as we innovators try to design solutions that are unique and innovative, we also should try to align and not only work in the green tech space or green innovation space, but really build with each other in the same direction.
Well, thank you so much for your insights, and I think that's also what we want to push with the Climathon movement. Thank you, Peter. And I'm handing over to Niels. I know that now my guests have exceeded a little bit the time span, so let's try and stay smooth in this frame.
We're at the final part, but we have some very nice contributions left. And Sarah, I'm happy that we have you back, and I hope that you use the time in your early morning to get a coffee maybe, because the question I'm asking you, you might need some caffeine. And the fact is that, as we know, the climate challenge is extremely complex, and we need collaboration across fields, potentially building unlikely allies even. And my question is specifically to you regarding the role of corporates. So what can large corporations such as Facebook, but also in general, do to really be a productive citizens to help us tackle the climate challenge?
Yeah, it's a great question, and one that's on our minds every day. The way that we think about it is that companies show up their best when they're leveraging their talent, which is their employees, who are often passionate about this work, and also figuring out ways to focus on areas of their own expertise, to champion not only global initiatives, but also regional and local initiatives that are really important to those communities. So how can you show up in a really relevant way in those communities in a way that they need it most? And so a couple good examples come to mind. I think when Facebook, as Facebook looks to invest in 100% renewable energy to support our operations, we work very closely with local governments, municipalities, utilities, regional energy companies to add new renewable energy projects to the grid in collaboration with that community. That's one example, adding new green tariffs to enable more participants into the market. Another example is our Climate Science Information Center, which we built last year to help to enable more people to directly connect with local climate experts in their country, in their region, understand local temperature change in their country, in their state, really figure out how to get those personal connections made, increase education, and bridge those connections locally.
I love it. I love the concreteness of those examples. And I think as part of our partnership, let's make sure that we hold each other accountable and that we support each other to play the role we all can. So thank you so much for your support with this event and the Climathon in general, Sarah. And good luck and enjoy your next coffee, probably in this early morning.
Absolutely.
So for the fourth participant in our lightning round, we're going back to Siem and back to the UK. And you, of course, in Microsoft represent one of the other digital giants that we have here. And I would also love to hear your input briefly on what do you think could be the role of Microsoft specifically, but more corporates in general, to help us build back better and be productive?
Yeah, thank you. I think it was interesting what Sarah mentioned as well, because I was going to touch on a similar point, and it's something I talk about, which is that when it comes to looking at what companies can do or what are doing, or even I'd argue at an individual level as well, it's not about reducing. It's going to might seem a little bit controversial. It's not about reducing your carbon emissions. It's about transitioning the entire world to a new future. And so that's one of the things that we do as well at Microsoft is, as what Sarah said, is when we purchase renewables, we have this process called additionality. It's quite easy just to buy renewables, but we make sure that when we buy them, that's creating a new renewables plant. And I think that's when, and then kind of also when you look at Microsoft, I made a big announcement at the start of last year, which was, the headline was carbon negativity. But really, when you think about carbon negativity, it's actually incredibly easy to achieve. You can achieve that tomorrow by just buying a whole bunch of offsets. Reading into that, what you see is the real challenging goal is we're going to reduce our emissions by half by 2030, and I think that's the stuff that transitions the world. And I think that's what I've learned, and I think that's what we all need to start applying: is how do we transition the world, rather than just focusing in on kind of small, not small wins, but just focusing on the carbon as well. It's transitioning is the key, and I think that's the lesson to learn from corporations.
So thank you for that. I think going beyond reducing to transition and transformation, I think is a beautiful summary that I will take along, and sounds like a very nice social media tweet, actually. So thank you for the input, Asim, and we're looking forward to keep collaborating with you and your team going forward. So we're about to close the Climathon Awards for this year, and it is time and a moment to congratulate the winners, the finalists, everybody who submitted, but also everybody who participated and their community and their ecosystem who supported it. Because Climathon lives from the energy that all of you provide and what you put into it. And I would also like to give a special shout out in this whole thing and thank you to the Climathon team. And I'm going slightly off script here, and specifically also to one person in there, namely to our colleague Fabienne Lang. So as those of you who know Climathon for long, know that Fabienne has been the heart and soul of Climathon for the past 5 years. She's been with it from the very start. And yesterday she had an unfortunate accident, which is why she cannot be with us today. Luckily she's fine, and I know you're watching, Fabienne. And please know that you're in our hearts, and Climathon would really not be the same without you and your energy and dedication going forward. Then a big thanks to all of our partners and sponsors, and also particularly Facebook. This was really the first year that we were working together. And I think, as Leah was saying slightly earlier before, our interests align very well on this project. You have the community platform, we have the tools to activate community, and I think we have the shared goal of protecting the climate. So I hope this is the beginning of a partnership spanning for many, many years and leading to action around the world. Now, before I'm going to hand over to Leah for the final words, I would like to pause for a second. And really, really pause for a second. Because this has been such a crazy year, 2020 has. And in this, our community of local organizers, people around the world, still found time, found energy, found motivation, found resources to make Climathons happen. And I think the more I think about it, the more incredible it is. I know how overwhelmed I was with the situation, yet they still managed to do it. And I think what all of you did, you managed to help climate on the agenda. You managed to make sure that people had the avenues to engage with the climate, and that we're not just building back, but that we're building back better. And I think you, as local organizers, are the true heroes of the Climathon, and I'm very much looking forward that you're on this journey. So a big, big thank you for that from my part. And I think, as they say, Leah, after the action is before the action.
True,
so
very true.
Over to you.
So you said this is going to be the end of the Climathon Award, but actually let's make it a beginning of the journey for 2021 for climate action. I think we should all feel very, very proud of what we've achieved already, and also about the momentum that we're creating right now. Yeah, this is really your time to shine as well, and to think about new projects that we can do, and yeah, use the corporations that are in place already. So let's lead by example. There are lots of people out there who don't care about or who are not involved yet so much because they're very occupied. So let us, who are already aware about it and who have gathered the concept of having to fight now and the urgency for climate action, so let us be the leaders for this year, and yeah, get as many people on board as possible. And we thought, how can we make it as easy as possible for you to get started right now? So we have 3 invitations for you. The first one is to really use the momentum that we're building through the outreach here. Use our hashtags and share your ideas on social media. Share your climate challenges from your city, from your community. Please also share your ideas on the projects, and yeah, let's help grow the movement online as long as we can here and get more people to join us. The second thing, which I already mentioned beforehand, is if you know that in your city there is no Climathon yet, then let's get the city on board. Please stay on the YouTube live stream, as our team will be there to support you. So if you have questions on how to organize a Climathon, how to mobilize people, how to bring other partners on board, then you can ask all of those questions and get feedback on our YouTube live stream. And the third invitation is to keep track of what the winning teams are doing, because we now introduced you to all of the projects, and especially the 2 winning teams. They are now on our Facebook chat, so you can also interact with them and ask questions, what they have planned, how they want to proceed, and maybe you also have an idea how you can help them. So yeah, I think we have a lot of super inspiring and exciting opportunities to help this movement growing and to take action for climate, and make this journey also a 2021 journey. Quick reminder at this point, the next Climathon is going to happen in autumn this year, in the last week of October, so between the 25th and the 31st of October 2021. So with that, I will close now. Thank you so much for watching, for participating, for contributing, and I hope to see you at the next Climathon events throughout this year. Take care and goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Ciao.
Humanity is facing an unprecedented crisis. COVID-19 shocked the world. But climate change doesn't wait. Inaction is not an option. It's time to act and come together. Cities and citizens are already forming a global wave of climate champions. In the last 4 years, the Climathon movement has grown from 600 to 6,000 participants across all 6 continents. And the momentum keeps on building. We need bold ambition. We need climate-resilient ideas and initiatives. We need a green recovery. Together, let's build back better. Join us on the Climathon journey. Take action. Co-create local ideas to shared climate challenges and build tangible and impact-driven projects. Get involved in shaping the future of your city. We are all in this together. Time for change. Be the change.